You should have Lumilink for more AD. Yeah. From the links you've said you have, the ones you're missing are kind of the most important for early bossing, which are the IED links. You're getting a lot of reduced damage on bosses because of their physical damage resist. And if your IED is too low, you're not breaking through that to do your real damage. IED gets more important than flat damage starting in CRA. Yep, once you start getting up to Chaos Red Abyss bosses, IED is the most important stat. Because it is going to be the major factor in reducing your damage output. Ideally, you want to be somewhere in the range of like 80 to 92% visual IED, like the number that's shown in your window here. Want it to be in between 88 and 92% for CRA. So you're dealing close enough to your true damage without needing to overinvest too much. Flat damage, because you read one of the problems with hyper-running is you stop one-shotting mobs real quick with how fast you level. That is sort of true for mobbing, yes. But we do have the option now of making presets for your hyper stats. So you can make a preset that's specifically for bossing, which prioritizes IED. And then just whenever you're doing your CRA runs, swap over to that one from your training one with flat damage. You still want a good split of damage, boss damage, and critical damage alongside your IED, but you want to prioritize IED more early. It costs Mesa? It does, yeah. It's only 2 mil. But it does have a Mesa cost attached to it. Especially for the early game, the most important thing for your hyper stats is not to level anything over 10. The best place to keep stuff for efficiency is in like the 5 to 8 range. Keep your more important skills at 8, keep the lesser so important skills around 5. So for my training one, I have 8 crit damage, 8 damage, and 8 normal monster damage, with only 5 points in boss damage and IED. For bossing, you'd flip those too. So the boss and IED would be 8 levels or whatnot. Oops. Capping things at 7 for now? Not a bad idea. The lower level you are, the less hyper stat points you have, so having a lower cap for your levels is pretty good. Since you can spread the points out better. Don't think the 5% EXP boost from 10 levels is worth it? Outside of being very well established in the game, no I don't. Hyper EXP is kind of a bait. Come on, Sacrix, it's 2 AM, you finish and we let you sleep? I'm trying. We got 6% to go. I'm like laying in my chair right now. The best gamer posture you've ever seen. You have 0 points in IED and boss damage for hyper stats though. You definitely want to swap that. Because boss damage is a very valuable hyper stat, because every level into boss damage gets you 4%. It scales quite hard. Same with IED. This one's only 3%, but still. IED goes a long way. The less sources of IED you have early on, the more impactful every individual source is. So if you don't have Luminous Link currently, this IED from your hyperstat is going to carry a lot of weight. It won't take you all the way to like the desired 92% visual IED, but it'll do a lot in improving your damage output against CRA bosses. You won't be getting nearly as much final damage cut from having low IED. Chaos Chicken is 100% PDR and MDR, so if you have 68 IED, you deal 32% reduced damage. Yeah. I'm too tired to know if those numbers are proper, but that's very on point. The lower your IED is to the boss's PDR percent, the more final damage you're losing. Because you're not breaking through the boss's defenses. You lose a lot of final damage. So if you want to kill Rudibus, it's not damage, it's IED. Yes, IED is the most important stat early game as far as bossing goes. I wish I remembered what the dude's YouTube channel was, but a great example of it was the KMS YouTuber that's doing something similar to what Kobe is doing with his reboot series. He was able to clear all 4 doors of CRA with like 4K stat on his book because he literally put everything he could into IED as soon as possible. Stat and damage percent aren't the thing that's holding you back. IED is. What the fuck? Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of control to do it at that low of stat, but IED is absolutely holding your damage output back. Especially with 5th job skills existing as they are now, a lot of classes, as soon as they hit 5th job, have the burst capabilities to solo CRA. It's just that they don't have enough IED to break through the boss's defense to actually kill them. Did he have an ultimatum ring? No, he was a fresh account in reboot day 1. Or not day 1, day 5. Because he had to do the normal Rudibus Priest. I believe at that time he just had his hyper stats all into IED with a few points in boss and damage, and then he had Lumi Link level 2, I believe. And me over here getting your jet to 10k stat just to have a chance. I mean, if you want to clear it easily, yeah. Having more damage will obviously kill it faster. But if you're looking for like low stat clears, IED is the way to do it. So you're actually getting all of your low damage, not having any of it be reduced. Max IED is not ideal either. Yeah, the goal for early game is 88 to 92% visual in your window. That's where you want to be. Once you start moving up towards Lotus and Damien, then you want to have it pretty much around the 92 mark. And then once you get up to like normal will, maybe hard lucid, then you want to try to push it up to 94, 96%. Swap hyper stance twice a week. Once you do your weekly bosses and back to your grinding set. Generally, yeah. Most people do their bossing, like all of their bossing weekly and daily bosses, on a single day. For the most part, you don't really need IED for daily bosses. It's mostly just for the weeklies. So it'd pretty much just be a one-time expense to swap to your bossing setup. Get your weeklies out of the way, swap back to training. Until next week. I missed a summon. There it is. Your assassinate tooltip? Yeah, a lot of skills have their own innate IED as well as V skills. As you level them, get IED at level breakpoints. But that is like hidden IED. It's not visualized in your stat window at all, and it'll only apply to that specific skill. It won't apply to any of your other skills. So if you have one ability that does 100% IED, that'll be going through the boss's or its PDR, and you'll be doing true damage against it, but all other abilities that don't have that line aren't doing their full damage. They're doing reduced damage. because your IED is too low to break through the boss's PDR. It's like there's no efficient way to have perfect IED because of the diminishing returns on it. There's never a point where you want to have 100% visual IED in the stat window. You're just losing out on so much potential damage elsewhere, but you do need enough of it so that the damage you're losing to bosses with high defense isn't so much that it's stopping you from clearing. And just because you have 60% IED visual with 40% skill doesn't mean you have 100% IED. Yes, even the hidden IED stat has diminishing returns. Unless the skill has 100% IED on the effect, it'll still have its damage be reduced in some way. It'll just have it be reduced a lot less than your other abilities that don't have the IED line. Think you can solo CRA next reset? Maybe not Vellum, but yeah. Yeah, if you get your IED up, I think you'll have a good shot at 3 doors. If you're timing out and not dying out to the bosses, you've already got the most important step down, surviving. That makes the 20% IED hyper stat from Blazes' orbital flame pretty bonkers for bossing. It's pretty nice early on. Like, most skills have an IED hyper passive. I say most skills as I'm playing a class that doesn't have it. But yeah, the IED hyper passives are pretty valuable early on to make sure your main bossing skill is punching through that IED, or the boss's PDR rather. Or heck, you could play a class like Corsair who doesn't even need IED because Brain Scrambler is a balanced ability. Where's the skill icon for it? Comes with a free 60% built in. What's this 5, 10, 15 week that people keep talking about? It is a star forcing event that is coming up on next Sunday, I believe. Every 5th, 10th, and 15th star on the item has a 100% chance to succeed. So it is pretty much an event where you're guaranteed to pass on those stars. You still have to go 11 to 14 manually? Yes. Well, you have to go 11 to 15 manually, and then 15 to 16 is guaranteed. What the fuck, you're still going? Welcome back, Mr. V. Yep. This stream is about making bad decisions together. You've still got 92 minutes? No, god no, dude. We're at 97%. If I still had 92 minutes to go, I'd be in bed. I would have given up if I had that long to go. He doesn't sleep till he finishes. You're live the only time I didn't check Twitch after clocking in? Uh-oh. You missed out on one of our longest streams. Keck hands. Just sleep at work. That'll be the plan. I don't know how I'll pull it off. I'll still be fine. I've gotten less sleep on a work day before. At least now I'm tired, so maybe I won't roll around with insomnia for too long. Maybe I'll just fall asleep like a normal person. This is your reminder to save Mesa for Sunday? Yep. 5, 10, and 15 is coming up. Save your Mesos. Also, don't forget, with this event, once you get to the next rank after Junior, there is the No Boom Room, which is a star forcing area where your items will not boom up to 15 stars. So you can save a lot of Meso by not safeguarding hard to replace items up until 15 stars. Let's see if I can get medication for my sleep. I can, and I have used it in the past. The problem is, the only stuff that makes a meaningful dent in my chronic insomnia leaves me too tired in the mornings when I have to be alert and awake for work. But yeah, I've used sleep aids before. Bottle of melatonin time. If only it worked. Melatonin is nice for like an occasional bout of insomnia, but it has absolutely no impact on chronic. Arcanes work in the No Boom Room, right? Yep. All items outside of superior items, so your Tyrant Cape, Tyrant Belt, Tyrant Boots, you can't Star Force those in the No Boom Room, but all other gear, you can. And they will not boom until past 15 stars. So is it even wise to waste that much money on it? At your point in the game, I wouldn't say so, no. It's like you can pretty much get to the point where you're doing normal Lotus and normal Damien attempts before you have 17-star gear. You definitely want to pick up that 10 to 11 star because it'll give you a little bit of stat since it's free. But I don't think pushing to 17 star as early as you are is worth it. You have so many other cheaper avenues for stat increases than star forcing right now. Plus, coming up in Ignition, we have a Shining Star Force event, which is 5, 10, 15 alongside a 30% off Star Forcing event. Hopefully by the time that one rolls around, then you'll be ready to go for 17 stars, because that is the best Star Forcing event the game has for getting stuff to 17 stars. You're running Lomian just fine with 12 stars? Yeah, you don't need 17 star gear to kill up through Lomian. And once you're up through Lomian, then you have easy enough access to getting some or not arcanes, getting some Absolab armors. And maybe shoring up some reserves in case you boom something on 5, 10, 15. Game from Lost Ark and Star Forcing feels worse than honing. Star Forcing is the current worst progression thing for the game right now, yeah. There's pretty much no point in the game where Star Forcing feels good. Star Forcing is the worst system, but it gives you the most damage. Depending on what point of the game you're in, yeah. Once you're up through normal Lumion solos, getting your stuff from 12 to 17 stars is going to be your biggest increase in damage. And then beyond there, it's back to working on your potentials and your scrolling for your armors. Pretty much as far as your weapon goes, a 70% Fafnir, or a 70% traced Fafnir, it's hard to speak when I'm this tired, is more than good enough to carry you to the point you can get an Absolab weapon. And then once you have the Absolab weapon, then you'll probably want to look for a Fever Time event and 30% trace the weapon. Or if you have enough resources, You could try 15% tracing, but that is quite expensive and very, very RNG heavy. But you don't need to overinvest into a weapon early on. The best things you can work on as far as weapon, secondary, and emblem for the early game is your secondary and emblem. Because those are the ones you're not going to replace. Well, unless you want to go for a princess no secondary. Then you'd replace your secondary. But your emblem is pretty much best in slot always. And conveniently enough, your emblem is the part you want to get IED on. So it's a win-win. I must say this early, but grats on 250. Hey, I appreciate it. Glad I made it. Not gonna lie, thought about just calling it at 75%. The last percent taking extra long, that's because I didn't pop another EXP buff. Oh shit, I still had one too. Alright, I'm just too tired. We'll use it. EXP buff? Thanks for the reminder. You're still streaming for the next like 2 minutes? Yes. Call it a 99%. That's as far as we're getting, chat. We'll finish this later. It's too late. I'm tired. Got work tomorrow. See you guys later. You can do it, Corsair. Let me go to bed. Oh, I almost forgot to resummon my Amazonians. They've got to be here for the 250 level up screenshot. They carried me this far. Woo! I can go to bed! Holy shit, that took way too long, dude. Like I said, do as I say, not as I do, chat. Why'd you redeem a skip song at the end of the stream?